Let me ask you a question. When a potential token buyer stumbles upon your project for the first time, what are they most likely to look for? Not your Twitter, not your pitch deck, it's probably your white paper. That's right. Whether you're building a protocol, launching a DAO, or creating the next NFT-powered social platform, your white paper is often the first deep dive someone will ever take into the world you're building, which makes it arguably the most important document you'll ever write for your project, especially if you're planning to launch a token. It's a single source of truth that explains your mission, your technology, your design, your roadmap, your everything. But here's the problem. Most white papers in Web3 are dense, hard to understand, and written like they're only meant for the truly technically proficient 1%. And your users of your future tokens? They're most likely not of that 1%. So, in this session, we're going to fix that. We'll walk through the core purpose of a white paper and then dive into how to actually write one that is technical, clear, and genuinely convincing. Whether your reader is a seasoned investor, a developer, or a curious newcomer. Now, on the surface, a white paper might seem like a simple project documentation, but when crafted well, it becomes so much more. A tool for storytelling, community building, and fundraising. Think of it like this. There are 3 layers of purposes to every great white paper. The first thing a white paper does is build credibility. You want to show the world you've done the work, that you've thought things through. This layer should include things such as a general info to your project, the problem you're solving, your unique solution, and most importantly, who's behind it, which is the founding team. The second layer is to attract the community. This is where you speak directly to your users and builders, highlighting things such as what's fun, what's useful, what's in it for them. This layer can include components such as technical architecture to get contributors interested, features and real use cases, incentive mechanisms and user reward, and obviously, all of that good stuff with the gamified experiences. The third layer of your white paper's purpose is to quote-unquote convince the capital. Your white paper should show your growth potential. This is where you win the confidence of token buyers, future investors, or ecosystem partners. This section should bring to light things such as your tokenomics breakdown, your investment logic and benefits, roadmap and partnerships, and lastly, traction so far and what's coming next. Now, with this purpose-driven mindset in place, let's get practical. Here are 5 core concepts that we recommend every founder keep in mind when you're writing your own white paper. Core concept number 1, storytelling builds connection. Humans don't remember data. They remember stories. So structure your white paper like a journey. Think of a classic story arc that has worked for so many banger movies, which goes from exposition to conflict and finally to resolution. As a founder, exposition turns into your perception of the current state of the world. These are your market trends, your industry insights, and essentially the where of your story. Conflict turns into the problem and market pains that you're trying to solve, the why of your story. And last but not least, resolution turns into the how of your journey. How is your project going to tackle the aforementioned issues? And how are you, as the founder, going to go about doing it? In structuring your white paper like so, it becomes simple, compelling, and memorable to the readers. Core concept number 2, make sure to establish the mission. Every great white paper should have a clear and confident mission. Just like how every great story needs a justifiable cause. It should answer the core question of, what are you building and why does it matter? Keep it short, 1 or 2 lines max, and make it repeatable. If a reader can't paraphrase it after one read, it is too complicated. And also keep in mind, that tone matters here. You want to be ambitious, but grounded at the same time. Avoid overly using hype language. Instead, lead with clarity and conviction. For this aspect, I definitely recommend reading Polkadot's light paper. It's clean, technical, and visionary, all in a few paragraphs. Core concept number 3, your audience is the hero. Here's a mindset shift. Your project is not the hero of your story. Your user is. You're building a tool that helps them win, whether that's owning their own data, earning income, or reclaiming creative rights. Let them feel that. Here's an example of slogan that you can reference. Here at XYZ, we exist to help creators reclaim ownership of their content from centralized platforms. Make it about empowering their journey, not yours. Core concept number 4, build a strong foundation that also allows for growth. A white paper is not a static document. It's a blueprint. So start with the structure. Outline your key sections up front, things such as your abstract, your mission, your problem, product design, tokenomics, roadmap, governance, tractions, and much more. This gives clarity to your reader and makes writing it way easier. Also, this will future-proof your white paper for when you need to add certain updates to certain sections. This will show the readers that your roadmap isn't just wishful thinking. You can also feel free to use a phased approach in a roadmap. To further emphasize this notion, for example, Phase 1, build community and reward early users. Phase 2, launch core features and partnerships. Phase 3, test and launch utility tokens. Talking about your roadmap, it is important to keep in mind that you need to add timestamps to each phase and stage. This will show readers the level of commitment you have to actually go about materializing each milestone. And lastly, core concept number 5. Do not skimp on your tokenomics. Let's be honest, this is what a lot of readers will likely flip straight to. Tokenomics answer the big question. Why will this token have value? And how is this value sustained? Your tokenomics section should clearly explain your token supply, utility, distribution model, incentives, buyback or burn mechanisms if there is any, and finally, the unlocking schedules. Make this section visual. Think pie charts, diagrams, tables. Clarity is more powerful than complexity. Now that these 5 core concepts are out of the way, let's talk about tone and formatting. Here are a few tips to make your white paper shine. First, be clear, not clever. Define technical terms, don't flex them. Structure things visually. Use headers, short paragraphs, and clean design. Inspire trust. Your tone should reflect leadership and integrity. And definitely make it look good. A professionally designed PDF increases legitimacy. Learn from others. Study great white papers and steal what works. Before you hit publish, you should definitely ask yourself, does this clearly explain what we're building? Why and how? Is the mission memorable and bold? Will readers feel like they're part of the journey? Is the token model logical and transparent? And lastly, have we shown signs of long-term vision and governance? And that wraps up today's session on writing an effective Web3 white paper. To quickly recap, think in layers of purpose. Trust users and investors. Lead with story, clarity, and mission. Treat your white paper like a living blueprint. And don't underestimate the power of clear tokenomics. If you can nail those, you'll have a document that doesn't just inform, it will inspire. And with that, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.